You need help, 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 and help to be able to cope, number one, with the root cause, that is the distressor that is causing you to drink. Hi, I'm Irene, and this is Coffee with a Therapist, where every week we delve into your issues, things that cause you disturbance, distress, and most of all, discomfort. We are going to continue on the topic of alcoholism. Today we are going to discuss about alcoholism in marriage. Many questions I have received. To start us off, I'd like to say alcoholism is a disease. It's not a choice. It's not that something you can tell somebody, stop drinking, or threaten them to stop, and they stop. It is a disease. And today we are going to talk about spouses, whether you're a wife or a husband, and how you have dealt with your spouse who's an alcoholic. Remember, we who are living with them adapt into that behavior. And in many ways, we have to agree. It causes us to be something we are not. And just to be able to cope, we have to adapt. Now today I'll talk about different ways the coping skills they use, the personalities they change to be able to cope. And I'd like you to find out who you are in these four. The first one I'd like to call Suffering Susan. Suffering Susan is the wife who has found her husband is drinking or knew he was drinking, but she chose to take the victim stance, to be quiet, to isolate, and to suffer quietly. If she's religious, you go to church and pray and hope that things get better. But for the most part, you ignore. For the most part, you suffer quietly. And you become a victim, a martyr. You feel sorry for yourself and for a friend or two. You tell them who will suffer with you. But for the most part, you're quiet. And maybe suffering silently is not a big deal. And you can do that for years, especially if the alcoholic is a high performance alcoholic, or they're not violent. They're people who actually drink and they're quiet and withdrawn and they don't cause trouble. And it's easy to live with that. The second way of coping, we call her Controlling Catherine. Controlling Catherine has to control the situation. Oh, she obsessively monitors your spouse's drinking and behavior. You monitor his every move. Where are you at? Hello, who are you with? Let me talk to them. Show me through your phone where you are. Sometimes you threaten. If you continue drinking, I'm going to leave this house. I'm going to leave you with the kids. I'll fly to Europe. And with the threats, he'll stop for 1 or 2 days. Or you discard the alcohol, any form of alcohol in the house, or you withdraw money. Say maybe you have more money, or you control the money, or you have a joint account, you withdraw the money in order to, and you threaten or forbid him to drink, or you keep constant tabs of his movement. Where are you at? How much did you drink? I'll make sure you don't drink. You need to actively release control. You didn't cause it, you can't control it, and neither can you stop it. Another coping skill is somebody I like to call as Wavering Winfred. Winfred will sit and determine, we have a problem, I will stage an intervention, I will call the pastor, I will call my brothers, my sisters, his mother, and we will have a discussion. And when the day arrives, she changes her mind. Maybe it's not too bad. Listen, last week he did shopping. He did this. One day you have made a stance and you've said, this house is unlivable. I need to take action. And the next day you waver. And he knows, and the alcoholic knows, and thus manipulates you. And it's a game where he stops, pleads, and for 2, 3 days, 4 days, tones it down. And then an incident happens and it comes. Wavering Winfred works very well when the alcoholic drinks excessively for a season, stops, then starts drinking again for a season, stops. Winfred will tell herself, you know what, it's COVID. He wasn't drinking like this before. It's just COVID. But after COVID passed, look, he has been better. And it all flows quietly until another road bump on the way, and he delves deeper into the alcoholism. The last coping skill is somebody I like to call punitive Polly. Polly wants to punish you. You're drinking, you're using all the money, there's conflict in the home, she punishes you. And she might embarrass you in front of your friends and family. Anything that will cause you to be embarrassed. Some have even gone to the office and told the boss, don't give him money, let the salary come home. He drinks too much. Anything to punish. They might move to the next room and withhold and become the silent treatment. I won't talk to him this whole week. Or better yet, I'll take the kids, move to my mom's, and they move away for 2, 3 weeks. Then they come back. After his pleading and cajoling, I'll never do that again. I am sorry. And these cycles go on and on. And they go on for years and years. But it's your way of coping, not realizing it also affects the children. Alcoholics are sick and they need family and friends to step in, to show them, listen, this is beyond control. Many have slid down and lost everything. And yet, at the onset, if those around noted and didn't keep quiet, or make excuses, or deny, and call it out early enough, they would have gotten help. What if I'm a high-performance alcoholic? I work just as hard as I drink, but I bring in the money's home. I bring in what is required. How do we navigate this? I want you to realize, as a spouse of an alcoholic, you will have anger, anxiety. There'll always be intimacy issues. There will be marital conflict. Remember, alcohol requires money. It's a very expensive behavior. It requires time. We have to go to the recital. He's high. Will he show up? It comes with infidelity. It's like having a party without balloons. When you're an alcoholic, it lowers your inhibitions. So low that it clouds your judgment. Where else you would have said no to an affair, it's a welcome. It's really welcome. They go hand in hand. Another thing is you'll have to deal with domestic violence. Not everybody. Some, as I said, they're passive drinkers. They drink and they're timid and quiet and isolated. And there's some who are really violent. Those are the things you can't ignore in marriage. Let's talk about intimacy. We have a crisis in the eastern part of our country where young men are alcoholics and they can't see their children. What's the solution? Just like any cancer, you can't handle yourself. You can't treat yourself. You go to a doctor. Same as alcoholism. You need help. Help, and help to be able to cope, number one, with the root cause. that is the distressor that is causing you to drink. Number 2, to be able to detox from your system. And number 3, to be able to get back many things you had lost, because alcohol makes people regret in many areas, lose money, lose their families. In closing, I want to tell you, number 1, you need to have a lot of information about alcoholism. It's like having a spouse who's a doctor and you have no clue. We don't expect you to know the intricacies of medicine, but have an idea. You need to learn about alcoholism. You need to know about withdrawal syndrome. You need to know what they go through, the stages they go through, recovery, and how it looks like. Number 2, you need to be able to get support, stage intervention, and get help. Has help been possible for many? Yes. But unfortunately, it happened when they went down a spiral and they were at the bottom, the rock bottom, and then help came. We can avoid that by getting help early in advance, by showing love to our loved ones and helping them overcome this disease and be able to live a sober life. Get help, be whole, and be healed. But most of all, tell the truth. None of these coping skills. Let's walk in the light. God bless you.